Good evening, and I welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond. As always, your host, regular host, Emmanuel Jr., the Chief Crusader against corruption here in Ghana. And it is always a privilege to come your way every Monday at 8 p.m. And as I keep saying, the reason for always loving to come your way is simply because we get opportunity to interact and we get opportunity to discuss the future of this country, how best we can transform this country. We discuss topical issues that will give us the opportunity to think and think again for the sake of the unborn generation, not necessarily for our sake, but for the sake of the next generation. Let's see how best we can make Ghana a better place, not just for us, but also for the next generation. That's the reason why I always enjoy coming your way every Monday. This evening, I have always been telling you that governance is a serious business. And so every moment we get, it is important for us to see how best we will not just see governance as a political party activities, not as party A or party B winning or losing, not as someone being appointed or someone not being appointed, but most importantly, seeing governance as a process that affects your life and affects my life. We are in the month of March, and we describe the month of March as Ghana month. And so there seems to be so many things that has taken place this month. One of it has to do with the State of the Nation's address that was read by the president. That was actually his first State of the Nation's address after being sworn in. Then after, we had the opportunity to celebrate Ghana's 68th anniversary, independence anniversary. So many conversations came up as to whether or not there's something for us to celebrate, whether there's something for us to be proud of as a nation. Looking at the fact that we have spent 68 years. And indeed, if Ghana is a human being in Ghana's laws, obviously Ghana would have gone on retirement. Are we so proud of the country that we have 68 years on? Fortunately, the other thing that we are going to see, which will give us either hope or will give us some disappointments, has to do with tomorrow's events, and that has to do with the budget reading. And this evening, that is exactly what we're going to have a conversation on. We're going to talk about tomorrow's budgets. We are going to look at the expectations. And because it is so important a topic, we've decided that this evening, you, the viewer, you are going to be our guest. And you know what that means? It simply means that at the right time, we are going to activate the phone lines for you to contribute and share in your thoughts. We are looking at tomorrow's budget, the 2025 national budget, the budget we all want. What are you expecting from the budget? What are your hopes? What do you expect to see in the budget that would let you know that indeed, 68 years on, we may not be so proud, but at least after watching and listening to the budget tomorrow, there is some level of hope. When the phone lines are activated, I will invite you to communicate with me and communicate with the other viewers as to what you expect from the budget. But even before then, you can get interactive with us using our WhatsApp lines, which is on the screen, and also our social media handles, which will be on the screen. Just share in your thoughts and your comments on the topic that we are going to discuss this evening. And at the appropriate time, it will be read for you, and we'll also invite you to engage with us through the phone calls. I'm going to take a commercial break, a very short one, and when we come back, we zoom into activities. Stay tuned.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
If a cry na menyisika, edia ye mefui.
Ehin fa na menya bosia edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre mi ye busia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yemamwa kwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodoɔ bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekokro bosia, susu account, and it does all savings account. Me bada chain savings account, and the keka ho. Press Suhum Rural Bank was 03422918696. Now one so what to me aka say.
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Me damwase.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome back. Your host, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., is still with you. Today, we are going to have a very important conversation, and that is why we agreed that you will be the guest because of how important the topic is. We are looking at the budget, the 2025 budget. And as I indicated, because you are the guest at the appropriate time, we are going to activate the phone lines for you to call in and share your views and share your comments with all of us. Most importantly, we want you to share with us what you are expecting from the 2025 budget, which is going to be read tomorrow. And the reason why we want you to share with us is simply because, remember, as I said, just some few days back, Ghana celebrated its 68th independence anniversary. Is it an anniversary worth celebrating? Do we indeed have something to celebrate as a country? And if we are saying that we are not so proud of where we are as a country because we could have done better, then it is important for you to share in your thoughts and let us know what you expect from tomorrow's budget, which you believe will cause you to have some level of hope. And so the national budget we all want, and we are looking at the 2025 budget, the expectations and the realities. That is what we are going to discuss. And as I indicated, the phone lines or the WhatsApp lines are there for you to share in your thoughts. Now, the 2025 budget obviously was approved by Cabinet some days back. Last week, actually, somewhere last week or so, it was approved. And per the laws, tomorrow being March 11th, we are going to have it read. So we are going to read it. And we talk of a national budget and we say that it is a comprehensive financial plan which outlines a country's projected income and expenses. And that is the most important thing. It projects the income and expenses for a specific period, typically in a fiscal year. And when we talk of Ghana, we are looking at a 1-year period. So we are going to have a budget that will take us through the year 2025. And that is the fiscal year 2025. The importance, anytime we're talking of budgets, there are 3 things that budgets are supposed to achieve. The first one is that budgets are documents that manages national finances. That's the most important thing. The second one is that it is also a document that allocates resources effectively. And the third one, which again is so important, is that it's a document that guides in achieving economic and social goals of a country, particularly in Ghana, since we are speaking or we are talking about Ghana. And so that is the importance of a national budget. Now, we look at some of the key components that we expect to come from a budget. The first one is the revenue, and the revenue is simply looking at the estimated income from various sources, such as taxes, the fees, and the investment. So the revenue, tomorrow's budget is expected that will have a revenue component, an estimated income that Ghana is expecting in this 2025 fiscal year. The second thing that the document is expected to show us or to communicate to us is the expenditure. And that is also important. In almost all the years past in Ghana's history, anytime budget is presented, we always record expenditure being more than the revenue. And that is why most often we record a huge debt as a country. And so tomorrow we are also looking for a key component, and that has to do with the expenditure. That's the planned spending on government programs, services, and activities, including salaries, infrastructure, defense, education, healthcare, and welfare. So, I mean, the expenditure, you can put them under these umbrellas: salaries, infrastructure, defense, education, healthcare, welfare. Almost all the expenditures will find space under any of this. And then we look at the other component, that's the deficit or the surplus, which I was trying to talk about a bit earlier. That's just the difference between the revenue and the expenditure. And that will indicate whether the government will be borrowing or the government will be making some savings. For the past period, we've always been borrowing. And that is why we've been having this huge debt as a country. The purpose. Remember, I mentioned earlier that one key purpose for budget reading, having a document that contains or information known as budget, is the resource allocation. So it is tomorrow that we are going to see how the resources of this country, that's the revenue component, will be allocated, assigning funds to priority areas such as education, healthcare, infrastructure, defense, security, you name them, Then the second one is the economic management. This will influence economic growth, inflation, and employment through fiscal policy. And that is what one other reason for we're going to see what we will see tomorrow through the budget reading. The third one, which is accountability. This will provide transparency and oversight, and it will enable citizens and lawmakers to also track government spending. There are so many instances, although, where we have read the budget, but at the end of the day, government ends up overspending. And most often, it also gives us deficits. And that is where you end up having expenditure being more than the revenue. It can be as a result of corruption. It can be as a result of just indiscipline. It can be as a result of anything, so many things actually. But it looks like the past years, these are some of the things that we've been seeing. Accountability hasn't been so strong. The fourth purpose, planning and coordination. Facilitates coordination among government agencies, ensuring aligned goals and objectives. Again, one of the reasons with this particular purpose is to ensure that we do away with duplications. Unfortunately, history tells us that there are so many instances where duplication do take place. And so we end up, having quasi-institutions doing practically the same thing, and all of them ends up having a budget. And at the end of the day, we end up wasting national resources. We end up wasting the resources of this country. And we do get little, if not nothing, from it. In other words, we end up not getting any returns, any reward from it. But we are hoping that tomorrow we will be able to have that level of, checks and balances. Expectations from any and every good budget. It is expected that a good budget will give Ghana economic stability. That is something that we lack. I mean, over the past years, our economy hasn't been so good. There hasn't been stability. Today, you go to the forex market, the rate is this amount, X amount. The next day you go, it has changed. you can't even have stability to be able to plan very well. So the budget should control inflation, maintain a stable exchange rate, and create a predictable economic environment. And that is also very, very, very important. We need to have that. The other thing about the expectation is that the budget is expected to reduce domestic borrowing. The budget should plan to reduce domestic borrowing, making more financial resources available to the private sector. The other expectation from a good budget is what we call the fiscal discipline. The budget is expected to promote fiscal austerity measures, including eliminating waste. And that is very, 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 very important. If you look at reports that has come over the past years, including the Auditor General's report, and talks about the amount of money that goes to waste, it is so amazing. And so we expect that there will be an elimination of waste, tackling corruption, and reducing government expenditure. And that is also very important. Government expenditure needs to be reduced. And that is one key reason why this current government, just about 2 days ago, they celebrated their second month. One of the good things that I appreciate them for doing is cutting down government expenditure through the number of ministerial appointments that they have made so far. And that is something good. Tomorrow, it is expected that the budget will tell us a bit more about fiscal discipline. Then the fourth one is tax reforms. Today, I was having a conversation with a number of people, and they were all talking about taxes. It is something that we need to look at. Nuisance taxes and all that. So the government is expected to introduce tax policy reforms, such as expanding the tax base to include the informal sector, reintroducing road tolls, and increasing taxes on luxury goods, particularly with the reintroduction of road tolls. My very position has been that Mr. Amoakwata, who was the former Minister for Roads, who illegally and unconstitutionally decided to scrap or to stop the road tolls that we're having in this country, should be brought to book. He should be arrested and prosecuted for causing financial loss to the state. And indeed, in as much as I support the introduction of road tolls or the reintroduction of road tolls, my position has always been that whilst we are doing that, we should also hold people culpable. And Mr. Amoakwata should be one of the first persons to be held culpable for causing financial loss to the states. And so that is also one of the things that we expect from it. But you see, the reality is that the government of Ghana, as we speak now, faces the challenges of balancing the need for fiscal discipline with the need to stimulate economic growth and create jobs. And so there's actual challenge. And the challenge is that we need to balance these three things. Fiscal discipline. Fiscal discipline means that you are going to cut down some expenses, and yet it is also expected that you will create jobs. You are going to cut down some expenses, and yet it is also expected that you will stimulate the economic growth of this country. And so that is the real challenge. And that is why I'm really looking forward to tomorrow to see how the government intend facing or navigating through these challenges. Before I get to you, this is the final slide that I want us to look at. Most Ghanaians, and if you go around, they talk about the things that they are expecting to be in the 2025 budget. And the first one they look at is creating jobs, job creation. The last time on this platform, we talked a bit about it, and we're wondering how we can be creating jobs and at the same time trying to also make some individuals unemployed in this country by terminating some appointment. And so whatever it is expected strongly that there will be the creation of jobs. How the budget will do that, how the government will do that, it will manifest through the budget hearing that we are going to have tomorrow. The other one is that the budget is going to or will reduce inflation. And that is very, very, very key. If inflation goes up and it is not controlled, it affects every aspect of Ghana's life. It affects everything that you do. Your expenses that you make, everything is affected by that. And the third one, which is also very important because almost all other things falls under it, has to do with improving the economy. How best can we improve the economy? How well can we improve the economy? And so this evening, as I indicated, with this background and with this, foundation that has been given, an introduction that has been given, it is important for us all to discuss what we would term as the 2025 budget, the national budget that we all want. What budget do you want? What budget are you expecting? Send in your messages through the WhatsApp line, which is on the screen, and then share with us your thoughts. In some few minutes' time, we will activate the phone lines because you are the guest. We'll activate the phone lines for you to call in and share your views and share your comments with us. But also remember that this is going to be 2025 budget. Remember that we had a 2024 budget, 2023 budget, and we've had previous budgets as, we can all think about or talk about. But what you should also know, even as I prepare to activate the phone line, what you should also know or have in mind is this: whether or not the previous budgets met your expectations. If the previous budget did not meet your expectation, then what you need to tell me is that this current budget, as I indicated, what do you expect to have in this budget that you would term as a budget that has met your expectation? A number of messages have started coming in, and at the right time, I'm going to read the budget and the messages to you. But we are going to activate the phone lines now for us to have an interaction. We are going to have an engagement. And the phone lines, as you see on the screen, are 0204155 and 02041558888. The 2025 budget. What are you expecting? What do you expect to come out of the budget that you will say that indeed this is a budget that gives hope, or this is a budget that, to a large extent, you'll be comfortable of saying that there is some level of hope coming in. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. Ghana's independence is meaningless until we change our attitude. I'll be very happy to hear the cancellation of e-levy and betting tax. I'm a Kuamwa Christian from Odomichala in the Oti region of Ghana. My regards to Engineer Ferguson. So he's talking about the e-levy and the betting tax being cancelled or taken out. All right. This is Solomon Jagri from Kunsu Ahafo, Ano, Southwest. Ghana is going to be better. Having a visionary father, may all the souls who couldn't survive under NPP government rest well. Amen. Tomorrow, Mr. Wilson, will be a remarkable day for our burden. For our burden is going to be cut off. God bless His Excellency John Mahama, and God bless our homeland Ghana. My greetings to Honorable Abubakar Sadiq and our Secretary Solomon Domong, PhD. All right, so there's a caller on the line. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Your name, Udin, and where you are calling from?
My name is Collins Mensah. I'm really calling you from. Good evening.
Yes. Collins, reduce to set the volume on your set so that you can hear me directly. Hello, Collins.
Hello.
Okay. Yes. Otemenka, can you hear me?
Have you heard me?
Collins, so you reduce the volume on your set and you can call back again. This one says, my name is Mauku John, inside Oti region. I actually in love with your topic, Mr. Wilson. Based on education, the current curriculum must be reviewed and how College of Education will bring up teachers when placed in a... Okay, it's not so clear. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Tomorrow, I expect the president to reduce some taxes because last week, I went to buy tractor tie and the shop owner told me that if I need official receipts, I have to pay 4,000 before he'll give me a receipt. If I don't need a receipt, then I will not pay that amount. What it means is that the owner is dodging. If it is you, what will you do? Okay, you didn't add your name. Caller, good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Good evening.
Please, your name.
My name is Collins.
All right, Collins, go ahead.
Calling you from Goss area.
Okay, good.
I want government, my expectations will be captured on the budget. That the president should remove the betting tax and the COVID tax, because as for that, it didn't help the individuals in the country.
Okay.
You want government to eliminate that from the budget. That's why I really called you.
Thank you so much, Collins. It looks like the betting tax and the COVID tax there, if it is not taken out, I don't think the presidents will be able to survive even a day after tomorrow's budget. Anyway, so this one says, good evening. Please, good evening, Mr. Wilson. I'm watching you live from Ibra Tuakwa districts. Please, tomorrow's budget, I'm expecting the removal of betting tax, e-levy, and COVID tax. And please, bringing jobs to us, the youth. My greetings to Felix. Okay, so that's his constituency, AAK. Very well. So, Amadou Kwabena, Ibra. Okay, so Amadou Kwabena, thank you. Mr. Wilson, my expectation is that the budget should aim at reducing prices to improve the standard of living of Ghanaians through increasing purchasing power. Policies that will boost agriculture to reduce the percentage of income spent on food. The budget should also aid in curtailing excessive imports at the detriment of the infant industries. And that is actually one of the things. You didn't add your name, but that's actually one of the things I'm also strongly expecting. How we can reduce importation, especially of produce that we can find in this country, and find a way of encouraging exports of Ghana-made products. Exportation, let's see how we can encourage individuals to engage in exporting activities, whilst we discourage individuals from bringing in or importing items that ends up, destroying the Ghanaian-owned businesses. So yes, I agree. I expect that also. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. I hope this budget will meet timely youth unemployment issues. And this is wisdom from Upper West. Caller, good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Fine evening, boss. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And yourself?
Oh, I'm also good.
Good. Your name and where you're calling from?
Please, I'm James. What's up from Bono East region.
Okay, David, please go ahead.
I said I'm James. I'm James.
James?
Yes.
Okay, please, James, go ahead.
What happened is that it was because of this unemployment rate that made some of us to vote against the existing president.
Right.
So some of us, what we are looking into this budget is that we want recruitment, especially with regards to this allied health personnel. We've been queued in the house for a very long time. Since 2019 till date, we are still at home. We have passed all our license exams, and our parents, the money they've used, now we are looking like we are wasted. We are being wasted in the society. So we plead with the government that they should up the recruitment, especially with the nurses and midwives. And then particularly with my course I did, allied health personnel. So we are counting on you people to add that into the budget.
That's very good. James, but let me just ask you, your field, how is the employment done? You're expecting the government to do postings, right?
Yes.
And that wasn't done. How long have you been home?
I've been in the house for 5 years now.
5 years.
Yes, I completed school 2020 and I'm still at home.
That is so sad. That's so sad.
So looking at the issues, in fact, we are suffering at home.
I can imagine. But so we hope so. We hope that tomorrow, after the budget is read, you'll have some peace of mind and some hope that you are going to be posted soon. Not just you, but your colleagues too. All right. Thank you so much, James. So this one says, good evening. I'm Ibrahim Justice from Asawasi. My expectation to the government is creating tax. Well, it's not so clear, Ibrahim. Creating tax, as in we should create more tax or what? Okay, anyway. So from Mighty Shamaba, connected straight from Isikuma Ketan, Kojo Krom constituency. My expectation is that the president will pump in more money into agri sector and also boot out the e-levy and the betting tax. All right, so that is it. So you want the agri sector to be, there should be some injection into the agri sector, and clearly the e-levy and the betting tax should be out. Right. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I wish this budget brings jobs for the youth. My name is Kobe Wilson. All right, Kobe Wilson, thank you for sending in this message. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. His Excellency has promised to implement the deprived area allowance. Teachers and health workers are waiting to hear something good about that tomorrow. And that is Roger Sabuba. Thank you so much. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah, good evening. I'm calling from Kumasi, Ejiso. I'm called Charles.
Charles Ejiso.
Yes, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Please, you know what I'm expecting from the government is the guarantee issue. How the government is going, how the budget, how much they are going to spend on guarantee 5. Because the federal government, we hear a lot of money involved. 2, unemployment. Because we knew that now unemployment about 14 point something %. And the people shouldn't forget that 2012, 2015, that was a backlog. So during President Muhammad said at the office, there was the unemployment issue. We all knew. So now we don't want a situation where I become a back and front. 3, my problem is the taxes. They are promising that they are going to remove betting tax, GSV, COVID-19, whatever. The question is, are they going to bring a new tax or there is not going to be a tax in this country? I'm asking this question because there's a lot of different that they are going to move all these taxes. And we knew that the government used their taxes to develop the nation because outside the country, wherever, they use their taxes. So you are promised during the campaign, you are in government, you are still promising. Fine, it's good. But remove all these taxes, it's okay. But the question is, I'm working. At the end of the month, I earn maybe about 1,000, I pay income tax and all that I remove from my salary. And somebody one day can get about 200 and something million. Still, I'm not going to tax that person. It will be free because of the policy, because of the power. So the question I'm asking the Muhammad and DC government is that after removing all these taxes, are they going to bring a new taxes or there's not going to be a tax in this country? That's my question for you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charles. In fact, it is one interesting thing because people have also been arguing whether or not tomorrow we are going to see what we define as elimination by substitution in terms of the taxes or the taxations, whether we are going to take out some taxes and find a way of introducing some new taxes. What would that mean? Does it mean that we'll just be where we are? But we hope to see what happens tomorrow. So yes, Charles is looking at the galamsey, the unemployment, the taxes. Unemployment, James was also looking at it, and it looks like that is also very key. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Oh, okay. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. This is Annan calling from Supplement.
Annan.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Let me greet my MP for Amasaman constituency, Honorable Sedem Afenyo. Tomorrow, the budget, we the youth of this good country of Ghana, particular our expectation. I always use myself to do an example. What happens to me previous that 8 years, particularly in agri sector. You know, when one district, one factory, I went down central where the equi juice factories and did the pineapple farming myself.
Right.
Borrowed money. At the end of the harvesting time, the company told me that they can't buy the stuff, the food that I have provided. So the food got rotted and everything spoiled. As I'm speaking to you, I'm paying that loan as at today.
Wow.
So for me, I'm saying that the incoming budget should cater for the produce that the product that the farmers will produce. So that one district, one factory company that the previous government started, we of us, we know there's one at the Amazon satellite, a Japanese company. They have collected that company that is one district for somebody is doing poison or whatever there. But we don't know whether it's true that it's one district, one factory. We are pleading to the government that tomorrow the budget, they should focus on when the farmers harvest their yields, where they will get to store it so that government will buy them and store it for us.
It's
That's
very, very important.
The main thing that the youth need it.
Right. Thank you so much, Anand. It's really, really important, and I agree with you. Post-harvest losses in this country is extremely bad. And I have always said that it is only in Ghana that when we have bumper harvest, that is when our farmers cry, because they will be losing. And it's really funny anyway. But thank you, Anand. The other one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. His Excellency has promised to implement, okay, I think I went through this one. I'm expecting the government to reduce the salaries and privileges of CEOs and also goods and services to be reduced as well. Thank you. This is Evelyn from Koforidia. So goods and services, the privileges given and salaries given to the CEOs. Do we have a caller on the line? Yeah, so caller, you are welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, and your name? Where you calling from too?
Yeah, I'm calling from La.
The name?
My name is Magellan.
Say it again.
Magellan. My name is Magellan.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, tomorrow's budget, my expectation is, why?
Do you have the TV? Do you have the volume up? There's a feedback.
Okay. Yeah, my expectation is, I think government should stop foreign money, especially like dollar. We are using dollar too much at the country.
Okay.
It make our currency is useless.
Right.
If you can't take our currency to America to go and use there. You can't go and use CD at America. Where America, we are using America dollar at Ghana here. That's why the country is very, very poor.
Okay.
So I'm expecting that if the budget tomorrow, government can stop using the dollar, the Ghana will be okay.
Very well. Thank you so much. So you are talking about the dollarization of the economy. We should find a way of reducing that or taking that off. Yeah, there are policies in the past years that we have had, governments have had, with the intention of, fighting the dollarization of the economy. But it looks like we have not succeeded so much. So yes, that is your expectation for tomorrow's budget. That's fine. My name is Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm. Good evening, my brother. I hope and pray that the budget that is going to be read tomorrow will be business friendly and to provide hope for the youth of this country. I'm also looking forward to see how government, the 24-hour economy will be implemented to create more jobs for the youth of this country. This is very important for me, and more money should be injected into our educational system, health, and infrastructure. I wish you well, Mr. Wilson. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hamza. This one says, right, so we have a caller on the line. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Jacob,
Jacob, what say?
I'm free.
Offenso. Me pacho kasa yitio. Hello, Jacob. Jacob. Oh, unfortunately, it looks like we've lost Jacob. Jacob, unya hu assign free BM. I'm say ola any drop here. Okay, so this one says the former road minister has been the first on my list for causing financial loss to the state. Okay, so you didn't give us your name or where you're calling from, but of course, I'm sure you are supporting what I said earlier, which clearly, I strongly believe that Amoakwata should be facing the law by now for causing financial loss to the state. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. My name is Kingsley. My expectation is to have the government create more jobs in the rural areas. And it's very, very important. Okay, we have another caller. Caller, good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yes, this is Salisu from Janga.
This is who? Salisu?
Salisu from Janga, Northeast region.
From Janga, Northeast?
Janga, yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, let me say it's a great opportunity to get to also contribute. But I'm having a lot of expectations for tomorrow's budget.
Right.
The first and the big one is I want to see allocation for the Pualugu Motorized Pepper Dam project.
The Pualugu.
That
very well.
Pualugu Dam.
That's right.
I want to see something in the budget which clearly spell out how government is going to continue the project. Because as you speak, the solar component of the project is currently ongoing at Kurugu in the West Mampus. So I want to see something that will suggest that government is going to continue the project.
Right.
There's another ongoing project at Mishu to Uimba. It was a bridge project ongoing. I also want to see something in the budget to help the contractor just finish up the work, because when that project is completed, it will go a long way to open up the place for agricultural process purposes. And the last one, the president promised of establishing a university for these new regions.
Yes.
The Northeast region, that's what we are lacking seriously. So I want to see something in the budget which will show that the president is actually going to fulfill that point. But when it is fulfilled, it will go a very long way to helping the people to get higher education. But for the taxes and whatever, I think that the elimination and substitution is bound to happen. That's what we are going to get. Because if you look at what the experts are saying, if the government is going to abolish levy, COVID levy and person tax, the government is going to lose almost 2 billion Ghana cedis. So of course, government would have liked to have that money, but because it was a campaign promise that they are going to eliminate or do away with it, they will do that. They will actually find something from somewhere which will come and cover up, which to me will not be fair to the good people of God, because per their understanding then, the COVID tax and the e-levy was a burden on Ghanaians. So if you are going to take them off to relieve Ghanaians, but you find another way of getting money from Ghanaians, that will be unfair. on the part of, but that's what we're going to get tomorrow. There's no two ways about it.
I agree, Salifu. That's right. Thank you so much for calling, and I really I appreciate your expectations, particularly when it looks like almost all the expectations seems to be about the community that you find yourself in. Universities to be done, the Pualugu Dam, and of course this elimination by substitution. In as much as people will not be happy about it, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if that is what we get tomorrow, where some taxes may be taken out and other taxes may be introduced. I would not be surprised, but I'm not saying that is what will happen, or I'm not saying that is what I am hoping for. But if it happens, I'll not be surprised. Good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Evening.
Your name and where you're calling from? Nyami Adom, Pachon Swe.
Me from Tamale South.
Tamale South, within the same?
Yes. Me Pachon, I didn't have to say me were about what say, I'm sure.
One body answer me.
What is?
One body answer me. Within.
Me the chairman Obolo.
Chairman Obolo.
Obolo, I was Tamale South.
Mpacho you, Koso.
Tamale South.
Tamale South, yeah.
And so on, a problem.
In Sio,
and so about budget and now so I want some album.
In Sio, no, I was the whole Tamale South, Honomo.
Tamale South, your name so cry.
Into more than Yensio.
I say, and they are some no.
Moko Fechibiana, some way anything. Moko Sawa, Rive Muana, some way anything.
And so no dear, about my Baba say 3 to 4 young so.
Pipe number.
Your brother so far, you are buying one no boy and so no problem.
Mate.
I was Tamale South.
Tamale South. Mate.
Your brain so papa, budget no. One my didn't bump by a say, and so no what some.
Mate, Chairman.
They hired no Tamale South in your name so cry.
Meda Sepa Chairman. Inti Hopu Sochina, Obeka Bibi about Insuno. This one says, Nyami Shaw. This one says, good evening. Okay, so my name is Kingsley, and my expectation is to create more jobs in the rural areas. So Kingsley is expecting more jobs. And you see, one of the advantages of this, if we're able to have it, is that it's going to even curb this rural-urban migration, where in most of our urban communities, it seems to be so choked with people. They are all migrating in trying to get jobs. So yes, Kingsley, I pray and hope so that tomorrow there will be something that will suggest that there's clearly going to be job creation, particularly in the rural areas. This one says, Emmanuel, I really love your show. Keep on doing good work. Thank you so much. You didn't add your name. This one says, 24-hour economy should be mentioned in the budget tomorrow. And this is coming from Abu Yaya from Sunyani. So Abu Yaya is looking at the 24-hour economy. It looks like the things that seems to be running through strongly has to do with the taxes. Obviously, most people want the betting tax to be out because, and I'm not surprised because it was really topical during the last elections. The betting tax, the COVID tax, all the taxes we call nuisance taxes. You know, the other one, okay, so I'll come to the other one, but we have a next call. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Caller. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
My name is Alfred.
Your name is Alfred?
Yeah,
Lai. Okay, Alfred, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from
La. Okay, Alfred. Obawiega, you want to speak English?
I'm a Wiega.
Okay, yeah, no. We're Moga.
Yeah. I'm for the Shibab. You are your body today is I tell my friend lie. Who can you now? Me, are your body is the new party action or 5 way splashing.
Yamini, Alfred, what would be enough you?
For personally, construction.
Construction, yes, okay.
Yeah. From previous one, what I know is any company that know about is still insurance. Yeah, construction there.
Yes.
So this time, I think in a kind, you know, the security. I think it's security, construction there. Because present bar from car bar stop contract. Stop contract. At Tomoko, Rad Motion. You could let Ghana. If you do Pentan, if I miss it, you can't miss the feet. I'm not sure. No social security. Cardina, co parent can be payable. You miss money, present take an machine. Company second about, okay, you more permanent. Not pay security, more benefit million, say, I don't want another.
Very good. Okay. Alfred, you are done well. I think this is very, very important. And yes, I'm also hoping that will be captured in the budget, tomorrow's budget, particularly for those who are on contract basis, artisans who are on contract basis, who are not being given full-time appointments, artisans who are on contract basis, who seems not to be, their employers seems not to care about their social welfare or well-being, their SNET, and all that. So yes, I'm hoping that something of that will be captured in. But as I was saying, we have a number of interesting things that have come up so far. The first one has to do with the taxes, what we describe as the nuisance taxes. And clearly so, I'm not surprised because this was very topical during the last elections. It was very, very topical. So the taxes was there, the unemployment was there. Okay, I'll come back again to the other one. This will be the last caller for the program. Caller, welcome to Politics and Beyond. Good evening.
Good evening, boss.
Your name and where you are calling from, sir?
Boss, le patrol friend Audu Faila Mikasa through Wanchi region.
Audu, Wenchi for what is saying?
Oh, Wanchi for who yeah.
Good.
Wanchi for who yeah pa SYZ to share the massive. Muba ma bien and mama tina kure. Become via station. SYZ to one eda. Wa mama akwanya we Mami chami MP. Honorable Alhaji Pedro Haruna. This was from Adumawura. And the idea of Wanchi. The good compound people to Adumawura. The American United said, you say Honorable to forcing or China or Kinka budget in one. You will crumble when she a friend book. That was the mama e-blog. Kasia Eddie Meyer. That e-blog, a couple of 80 years e-blog, you be a alpha. Into a sere at to force in Bawaban. One boy no moon sit school no because spoken to Kuma Kalasia, there were Amu Kum, no Chum Kum, no Gokushu, no Quan, no Anone, no Ashosu, no Bronoso, no Wanchi, See Kum, no Sakura, Koshua, yeah. The Tessie, yes, sir, a month, we are going to tell you now, 7 Besides budget, we want and come now and see accounting for NDE. The Chelsea import duty. Mantini Mahama, one Kisumaya, not import duty. Imported to go from Adama job debris, about country 24-hour economy. Abaso, the Chelsea e-levy, boiler tax, corona tax, death tax, missing tax. When you free Sumaya, now we can break Ghana. The case on Coupon kitchen program, yes, I to force one check and bring gra. Now you from Yana the Papa, yeah, they are 4-1 the do cashew. Yes, I to force cashew market board. Among Fambre, cashew market board, among Fambre, not cashew for so the winter because the almost here. You just say cashew market board, but just said the cocoa market board. I'm a cashew for so the water, the air you can free to force you one to Bolo region.
Medasipa Udu, Yamin Kaun, Michia Wenchi for Yina. In fact, I couldn't agree less, with you. On this cashew marketing board, very, very, very important. And if you know where Audu is calling from, the Wenchi and its environs, and you visit there, you will see a lot of, cashew farms. And most at times, it looks like we don't even know the value or the money that we can make from this product. And so, yes, it will be very, very important if we are able to have the board. So in your board now, in fact, it will be one of the things that I'll be so happy about for tomorrow. We say, and he's from Shama Ba. Mr. Wilson, my second expectation is that the president should cancel the ex gratia as he promised during his 2024 campaign tour. Okay, that is also an interesting one. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. I'm testing from Kwewu Praso. I think it's in Praso. Okay, Praso, I don't know. And my expectation concerning tomorrow's national budget is that taxes such as e-levy, betting tax, and COVID tax will be abolished. And also, I'm expecting the implementation of 20% deprived area allowance. My name is Emmanuel. Okay, Emmanuel. This one says, 2024 NPP government started a recruitment exercise, and most of us were on pending. We plead with the government to complete the exercise for all qualifying pending graduates. I honestly, I'm one person who do not support, throughout the past years, I do not support the idea of new government coming in and, finding a way of taking out individuals who were employed by previous governments. Governance is a continuum. Wherever, unless there's an establishment of illegality in the process. If not, I support fully that every Ghanaian, irrespective of the political party you belong to, you are entitled to some basic rights, including decent job or decent work. So yes, I hope and I pray also that whatever recruitment process was started, irrespective of when it was started, if it is actually passing through the right process, this government should continue with that. All right, I wish you the best. You didn't add your name anyway. Mr. Watson, I really like your show. Please, I expect the government to post the backlogs of the diploma teachers. My name is Ogidi Brown from Akosombo. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Watson. I'm Prosper. Concerning the first budget tomorrow, I'm looking forward to hearing something about the 24-hour economy. And this one says, hello, Mr. Wilson. Good evening. I am Philip. And please, we want the president to cancel teachers' licensure exams as he promised. Right. I think that was also one of the key campaign messages and things that came up. Well, so that is that. There's still a number of messages coming through, but we are looking at the budgets tomorrow, and we are saying from most of the comments and calls that have come through, we are saying that we want the nuisance taxes to be taken up. Absolutely, scrap. The fear is that even if there will be an elimination by substitution in terms of taking out some taxes and introducing other taxes, the hope and the expectation is that whatever will be introduced will not be unnecessarily seen as a burden on Ghanaians. The other thing which will also run through very, very, very critically and importantly has to do with employment. And most of the individuals who are talking about this expectation, I believe, are the youth. Someone called in and said that for the past 5 years, he has graduated and is still waiting to be, posted 5 years after graduating. I think that is not the best. So employment is something that people are expecting to hear something good about it. The Galamsey issue, we need to see how we can also fight that. And that is what has been talked about. Obviously, it is one key thing that influenced the outcome of the last election. And so the current government cannot fail Ghanaians when it comes to the fight against Galamsey. The other one, which was also looked at, and for me, it is also very dear, has to do with the board. Of course, these are all other things that have come, but employment is key. Taxation is very key. We need to make sure that tomorrow, when we see any of, after hearing the budget, we will not say we are disappointed, but we'll rather say that we have indeed received a budget that is very, how do we call it, hopeful, a budget that does not cut our expectation, but a budget that actually meets our expectation. Maybe I'll just steal 1 or 2 minutes to say, this one says, I'm James Awini in Western North. My daughter is in school in Tamale, and that they are suffering when it comes to water. Government should do something about it. I think it's just like what Chairman said from Tamale South. Hello, Mr. Wilson. Good evening. You are doing a great job. If I may ask, what is the government going to do about the currency? Either going to change the currency, whether it's going to change or not. Secondly, about farming in Ghana, as per previous late champions regime, are we going to have Operation Feed Yourself? Thirdly, about the cleaning in Ghana, as late Atamils did, and that has to do with the sanitation. Okay, so you didn't add your name. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. Please, my expectation is the exchange rate. My name is Vincent from Ashaman. Maybe I'll just read the very last one. Forgive me. Please, good evening. I'm watching the show from Bono region. In fact, the NDC is coming to help Ghana tomorrow, and I'm expecting the minister to reduce the salary of CEOs and bring the taxes, because every country uses taxes to fix the country. My name is Daniel from Sunyani East, Bono Religion Estate. Okay, you've really given your address as to where you are. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. My expectation is this. Bank of Ghana should reduce their policy rate from 26.42% to 5% so that the individual commercial banks can offer us loans at 8%. Secondly, the government should offer interest-free loans or grants for the youth who want to venture into agriculture. Thank you, Kwashi. All right, Kwashi, thank you so much. Well, I'm not into banking, so I don't know, but if this had come earlier, I could have sought some advice from one of my team members as to whether or not this is feasible. But thank you so much, Kwasi. Thank you, Kwashi, right? Kwashi, thank you so much, Kwashi. In fact, there are so many messages coming through. With the calls, we couldn't take more, but there are a lot of messages coming through. But unfortunately, all too soon, this is where time will allow us. At least we've engaged and we've been able to express our expectations and all that. Hopefully next week, all things being equal, unless something changes, but all things being equal, we may come back to ask your views on the budget, which would then have been read, because it's going to be read tomorrow. So we'll find out whether or not your expectations were met. And if they were not met, what you think you have to do. And I'm not sure if you may have any alternative, but we'll see what can be done. But all too soon, this is where time will allow us. I want to thank you for making the show a success. Anytime I get opportunity to have you as my guest, I'm always happy, because then I also learn some few things from you. And indeed, we have learned some few things from each other. Next week, the same time, which is Monday, 8 p.m. on this same platform, we'll be having another episode, transformative, educative program called Politics and Beyond. My name has always been, and it is still, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., the Chief Crusader against corruption here in Ghana. You can continue getting interactive with us on our social media platforms, and we will engage you. So we'll meet again next week. All I can say for now is good night.